Now, in understanding the problem, you're thinking about the product, the problem and the solution at the same time. I would use product service as a mix because usually the solutions is either a product or a service.
Dear innovators, welcome to another episode of the Angels Playbook podcast. You know the drill. On this platform, we cover, the half sense. People that know the in and out of the Nigerian business landscape. They've done the thing, they've cracked the code, and now we're drawing out of the wealth of their knowledge. And so today, I have an amazing investment professional. She has sat down on so many panel sections, analyzed pitches, and made investment decisions on behalf of clients. Welcome to the studio, Oluebube Ezeoke, investment professional at Verod Capital Management. Welcome to the studio, ma.
Thank you so much for having me.
So me, I like that fufu. Okay, I like amebo before I start anything. So how did you find yourself in the investment space?
That's an interesting question. I would say that just after my NYC, I was working in audit, which is not necessarily investment. It was just finance. So I was working in audit and consulting. And then I had a few exposures with people working in private equity and just generally investment advisory. And so I got interested and I started to read up a bit more about it. At the same time, I was considering a CFA. So just the general exposure.
Let's ask you about that exam. That you put big money exam. That you put big money exam. All the investment people I want to write safe. And it's 1, 2, 3. Did you try the whole thing?
No, so I've only written, I've currently passed level 2 and we'll be writing level 2.
This one is bad. We wish we could give it a say and we'll put rapper on the floor. So today we're going to be discussing how to crack the investment code. You've been on the other side of the table for a long time and you've seen pitches, you've read the investment plan and proposal. So you're going to be on my seat from the eye of the investor because I also understand how you guys think, what you guys look out for, so that when we are coming for the money, we can come prepared. So for a pitch, the pitch itself, let's say we're doing a presentation, what do you guys look out for in the first 30 seconds? Is it the person or the one they display, the pitch deck or the person?
Yeah. I guess maybe just to add, I've been on both sides of the table. So I wanted investment advisory. And I sort of had to prepare pitches for investors. Then I felt like I also need to be on the other side. Now, on the other side, most of the pitches, when we talk about pitch, as you correctly said, it could either be in person where you're presented somewhere, or it's a deck that is just being sent. Sometimes it could be a hybrid, a mix of both, where investors will look at the deck first, and then maybe you will now have a very short time. It could even be, you said 30 seconds, and talk about what you're proposing or the solution you're proposing. Now, to the point you made, we're looking at, I would say, 5 critical things. One would be, firstly, the problem you try to solve, and the solution as well. That's the second thing, the solution you're bringing to the table. We would also like to look at the markets. So how big is this market? Is it expanding? Is it a saturated market? I'm sure you've heard of terms like blue ocean, red ocean. So blue ocean is like there's a lot of opportunities. Red ocean, it's a crowded market. Is it something that is new or it's an existing market? In a sense that if you think about maybe iPhone, at the time where it was invented, there wasn't really anything like it. So it's like a new market. Think of Netflix as well, replacing all the CDs we used to have. So those are innovations. So is it an existing or a new market? Because those sort of things differ. And then also we want to look at the team. Okay. Actually, a very critical point. The team, who are the people that are going to execute all these nice ideas you're telling us about, and who is going to enter this market and get us the market share, and who is going to get the products to the hands of the customers. And then we look at the traction. have you made any success? Have you made any progress? If you're thinking if it's an idea, have you started to build a prototype? Those are some of the things we consider. And then finally, maybe not finally, there's like the financials of it. So there's the use of funds, the money you're asking for. You need to first of all be clear about how much you're asking for. And this money, what are you going to be using it for? Technology, hiring more people, moving into new markets. And then part of the financials, we're also looking at how you're going to grow. What are your projections like? And what is the return going to be like for the investors? So those are the major things we look at, not to go into what it is.
These 2 minutes.
Yeah. So for instance, you could just say, my product is sex. It's solving, first of all, the problem I've seen is, and so for instance, I've seen the language barrier as a problem. People want to change. People want to upgrade their career, or they want to travel for fun, and they have challenges with speaking new languages. Maybe the solution I'm offering is an app that teaches you multiple languages that are moving quickly to the market. This market consists of so many people, students, and you could even use the amount of people that let's use French, for instance, the amount of people that apply for French certifications like the DELF and the DALF. Check that market. So that's the market size. So the market size for this is this, and it's been backed up by the number of people that apply for this. And then maybe also, so I've spoken to the market size, and that's like a very short, so just one sentence gives,
Okay, so your speech, let's put a speech, that's to incorporate
all those things, but in sentences that you just talk about them. Whereas I need $25,000. I will use it to hire people, build the technology and all that. And it's shut it up to say.
So where the storytelling, all these things is the storytelling that
exactly.
This.
Yes. So when you have a 30 minutes, when you have 30 seconds, you're not so much telling stories.
Yeah.
It's really, sometimes we call it like the elevator pitch. And it's really like you catch somebody at a piece of time. You're in a conference, you just want to tell somebody that doesn't have time, this is what my product is. Can I get your card? Then you get a card, and then you have like more conversations. I've been in conferences where people say, I have an opportunity I want to show you. And then you tell me, okay, tell me in 10 seconds or in 1 minute, what is it about? You tell me, and I'm like, okay, this is my card. Let's have a conversation. So the storytelling bit is a bit more detailed that you could send over deck. So remember I mentioned you could deck or physical.
So, okay, so when it's the deck itself, I can put the storytelling in.
Yes. So maybe I would speak to that point. For the deck, so the difference between a deck and really your in-person presentation is the fact that when you're doing in-person presentations, we're looking at more non-verbal cues as well as the verbal cues. For your deck, it's more the flow and the conciseness. Similarly, when it's in person, you need to be concise because people really don't have time and the attention span is very short. So for the decks, we're really looking at the flow. So for instance, it's important to have an executive summary. That's the 30 minutes feature spoke about. So we would usually expect an executive summary that tells us, summarizes what you want, what you're solving, the markets and the people. And then you now move into more details. So for instance, you've been talking about the market, the problem, the solution. You're elaborating, but not too much. I mean, one slide per point is almost helpful. So it's 10 slides, man.
How important is the executive summary? Because I feel like if you have 100 pitch deck to look out for and you go through the executive summary, I think you just swipe. Like, I don't think it's not just anything.
And it depends. And so that's why the executive summary is like the 30 minutes hook line you talked about. So it could depend on many things. One is the investor's interest. If you've caught my attention in person, I probably give you more time.
Okay.
Sometimes it could just even be a case of this investor has more time to look at. But if there is no time, you really want your executive summary to be interesting.
Yeah, because I see that for many lecturers is to read our abstract.
Very interesting. I think it boils down to a lot of things. The point I highlighted as the executive summary, if you may, or the elevator pitch, are the details we look out for. We're not looking at, when you tell us, it's interested us, but it's not like you we've given you the go ahead or the buy-in. It's not like you've gotten buy-in yet. It's when we look into more details. Investors are quite detailed people. So we are looking at a lot. First of all, let me take it one, just one after the other. When you talk about the problem, we want to know that you understand the problem. And we want you to, people don't even realize how important it is to maybe show a sample of the product or a prototype or a picture of it if you don't have a sample of it. It's just like when you hire someone to build a house for you and then they don't show you pictures of them. They're like, don't worry, the house is going to be mine. So, that's something we really like to see, to know that you understand the product. But before that, I just want to start with the problem, understanding the problem. Now, in understanding the problem, you're thinking about the product, the problem, and the solution at the same time. I would use product service as a mix because usually the solutions is either a product or a service. Yeah. So I could use solution, product, or service interchangeably. Now, when we're looking at the problem you're looking to solve, is it really a pain point for someone? Is it a nice to have, or it's something that people really want to solve, right? If you're solving something that is nice, or people don't really think it's that much of a big deal, the tendency that you would have people that would pay for your product is lower. But if you're solving something that is really a pain point for someone, for instance, it's a pain point for everyone to go to the bank and be on the queue. So the mobile app and all the other ways you can transfer money it's a product because I can pay for it. It's also maybe a pain point to have
go to market.
You're not yeah. So if you think about it, actually, if you want to go to market under the sun or if you're working, you can even order and then somebody picks it up. Yeah. And even it's also a pain point to have CDs. In those days, you have like stacks of CDs in your house just to watch one movie. But now you just have to subscribe and you have Netflix. So those are pain points and people will pay. You have pain points. So how many people have those pain points? And that's one part of it. So we're looking at, do you understand that this is a need that people want to pay for? Is this the time? Sometimes people have needs, but it's not the time. Yeah. If you're in an economic environment that is shrinking, people have like a scale of preference. I'm bringing all my economics. I'm bringing my degree into the studio. People usually have like a scale of preference, and then they're looking at the opportunity cost of all these things. I would rather not watch Netflix than have data to maybe study if I was a student. So those are, and that brings us to this one of like the second point. You're thinking about the product and your solution, but you're thinking about the customers. Then you move on to the market. Is there really a market for this product? If people are willing to pay for the product, then there is a market. But if it's something that people will not really consider, it's just a nice to have, then your market is really not that large. When we think about markets, we think about three key things. So there's like a market framework that is generally understood amongst investors, and it's the addressable market size. And that is, so we're analyzing the market that you can capture. So it has three layers. The first layer is like a total addressable market. And it's really all the people that can buy your product. Whether they're going to buy it today or tomorrow, just who can buy this product. Then you move on to like the serviceable markets, and then you move on to your obtainable markets. So the serviceable market is within this large market. So I would use practical examples. So yes, it's a lot more practical than sense. Yeah. So if you think about fintech, there is a lot. I mean, there's a lot of products out there solving.
Nice that we have fintech pandemic in it.
Actually, maybe because money moves a lot. Think about fintech, for instance. You have so many subsets of fintech. You have the insurtech. You have and insurtech is like insurance, tech. You have people looking at there's a lot of tech words, but I will bring it out. Like you have people looking at payments. So when you transfer all of those people that make it easy to buy and sell, exactly. You have people looking at lending. Lending typically comes under fintech. You have people looking at, there's just so many options. Like, I'm already running out of my handing. So if you think about it that way, in the fintech space, the chances that you're doing maybe 50 of the solutions that exist, and maybe in 50 or 132 countries of the world is low, especially at the start. You would usually pick one geography, one region, or one product. So that's the serviceable market. You're either servicing a product type or a geography. So you could expand in the future, but you would have an anchor or a few anchors that you start with. So that's your serviceable market. So we don't expect you to service all the market with the resource that you have. Then you move on to the obtainable market. And the obtainable market is really, at this time, who can you service? Who can you capture? And it's a function of many things. It's a function of mostly the competition. If there is, like you said, a pandemic, if there is too many players in the markets, it means that all of you are struggling, or all of you are striving to capture the same markets or the same set of people. So there is that competition, and it sort of affects the serviceable and the obtainable market. So if you think about the word serviceable and addressable, then you think about the word serviceable but obtainable, meaning you can service those people.
So that like things you guys do.
Yeah, for market. Then you also think about the team. Okay. So who is going to execute this?
But why is it important for the investor looking at what concern?
What feels like the most important criteria? Because, and maybe there's something important to highlight, the fact that for startups and even generally businesses, there are different stages. You have like the seed stage, where it's mostly your idea and you're just getting funds to do like a prototype. You have like your Series A, like you have your growth stage. So if you think about the stages of the business, different things are more critical. At the seed stage, across the stages, your team is important, but at the seed stage, it's even most critical. So seed stage is that this person it ranges from the fact that this person hasn't built the product.
Just have an idea.
Just has an idea. So the person has built the product, but it's just taking it to market. It's just going to market, right? So if you think about the seed stage, the only thing I know is you.
Yeah.
I don't know the product. I don't know that people like the product. I don't know that the product will make money. It can be monetized. So the team is really critical. And I think maybe just to add, I've been on both the venture capital side as well as the private equity side, which is my current part of the investment that I'm working on. And I've seen that across both investment strata, the team is like the most important thing. And it's important because you would innovate. The market dynamics would change. Today, the market could be contractionary. The next day, it could be expansionary. Meaning today, the market could be shrinking. The next day, the market is expanding. The market would change. And it could also be that competition is changing. The landscape is changing. Today, you may see that, the market in maybe South Africa is crowded. I need to move to North Africa. You need someone that is making that call.
Well, yeah.
And you need to know that this person is capable of making the right decision. Or even when they don't have the capacity, they're able to source external capacity to make the right decisions. You need to know that these people will work together to develop the products. So I'll give you an instance. You have invested money in a team, and the next day the CTO, who is like the brain box behind the project, says he's leaving. The money is gone.
But for a startup, do you require me to have a team? Because I might just have an idea and maybe I have my guy working with me on that stuff. And okay, the both of you. Because when you're saying team, I was thinking of audio. No. Yeah. Okay. So that's so I was like, but if I go single-handedly, I won't get the fund. Are you saying that?
So no, not you don't need to come. You need to show that you have a team. And a team may not even be that you have hired people.
Okay.
It could be that for developing this project, I have maybe agencies that I'm outsourcing this. But you need to have like a structure.
Okay.
So that's like maybe the word is even a structure. And even though we appreciate a startup or a business that has a process-driven team than one that is people-dependent. I just mentioned if it was like a job wave last year, you hire somebody, you give somebody money for a product, and then the key man is leaving or the key people are leaving. you would have problem if the company is people driven than versus process driven. It is good to have people driven because there's the passion that process doesn't give, but there's also the structure that process gives you that people may not really give you. So that's one of the reasons why the team is important, because the market changes, because you need to move in different directions sometimes. You need to find what works and then stick to it. And because you need to expand and grow. So the team is really critical, and I get you guys. And the team is just the people making the things work.
So how important, because now I'm trying to understand how important, finally, if I'm giving you money, I also make money. So how important that number are for you guys. So how do I incorporate the numbers? How do I show? I know you talk about the sizable market, but am I showing them returns in my friend?
Not you. No, if you think about, so one of the things that usually comes to the pitch deck, I think I didn't get to speak to that, sorry, is the numbers, the financial projections. You typically have expectations. So for instance, when you do the addressable, the obtainable markets, in fact, probably we need to go back a step. So the two other things we look out for, I probably already spoke about the business model, how you make money from the business. It would show it in your financials, the financial projection. Another thing you would show in your financial projection is traction. So it would usually be nice when your financial projection shows where you've been and where you're going.
Okay.
Your financial history and your financial projection. Now, for your financial projection, we want to see how you're going to make money. And not just sometimes people just send you like the line items, like revenue, 20,000, 50,000, and then it just kills off. You just see like a very long line and it's like a smile. How you're going to make, how the product is going to be monetized. Something as nice as 20,000 customers or 20 customers in year one, 50 customers in year two, 50 customers in year two will be paying us 500,000. If it's maybe like a B2B or a B2C, 20,000 customers will be paying us 50 naira per month. If you think about it, Netflix, for instance, you can use that example. How much do we pay again? I think it was 7.5. I think it's increased. I don't recall when about to blow. So if you think about in Netflix, for instance, that's like a subscription-based business model. They're like 1,001 business model. So if you think about in Netflix, for instance, if Netflix was to pitch to us, it would be a case of 20,000 people are going to pay 7.5 per month or for the Netflix. Now, this access is how is it going to be? It's 1 month in this case. So those are some of the details we want to see. Is it going to be 1 year? Is it going to be 5 years? So there's a concept, there's like the B2B and B2C. B2B is like business and business. B2C is business to consumers of customers. You usually don't have like, you have products that have a long contract term. But for B2B, you have long contract terms. So there's a concept called lifetime value. Within the lifetime or within the contract period in this customer, how much are we going to be getting? So that's a metric to track. Also, for one customer that you acquire, how much cost are you going to have to spend to get this customer? Okay. It could be like the cost of your, the technology. There's a model called like the freemium model. So you give the person free products, but then there will be additional charges if you want to move to the next level. There's this app called Duolingo. No advertisement, but it's a very practical one. And there's apps like that on Play Store. When you're downloading, it's free. But when you want more features, like you don't want adverts, you need to pay. Pros. Exactly. So to get to Pro, in fact, that's the perfect word. To get to Pro, you don't have to pay. Those are like the freemium type model. Would there be free service? Who's going to be paying for that? If you're going to be doing something free, it's not really free because you're going to have an engineer. That person pay. If it's just you, it's your time that needs to be paid. If people think that time is not a resource, but it is, because if you quantify it, the opportunity cost is that you could be doing another paid job and you'll be making money. Yeah, true. So, to the point, if you think about all of these costs, what is the cost of acquiring one customer? And how does this translate to making the revenue? If you say we're going to get 20,000 customers, how much cost is it going to be? And then what is the profit we're looking to make out of this? not just profits, but the cash. Because there's a difference between profits and cash, my dears. That's a very important topic because, I mean, it's a crux. At the end of the day, you really are in need to make money. So if you think about financials, there's a concept that perhaps I should have explained before now. And it's the concept of the business model and the unit economics.
Okay.
So when we think about the business model, it's really how are you going to price this product? How are you going to make sustainable income from pricing this product this way? And there's so many types of business models. There's like the freemium model, there's the subscription model. We talked about Netflix. For Netflix, for instance, it's a subscription-based model. And it's a case of every month we have to pay like $7.5 to be able to have access to Netflix. And you have 7 days extra. Mm-hmm. So when you think about Netflix and the model that they employ, you need, so if Netflix was coming to us to maybe pitch, what they would be saying is, we expect to get 20,000 customers in the first year. 20,000 of these customers will pay you $7.5 per month. They're 12 months. So you would then do 20,000 multiplied by 7.5 multiplied by 12 months. That then gives you the revenue. Yeah. And then you also have to think about the cost of making revenue. People think about cost as only maybe the physical items like the building or the you're hiring or raw materials in some cases. But the cost also extends into time. So the time of the founder, even if it's just one person building the product, the opportunity cost of that person building a product is that this person could have gotten a paid job and earned some money that could have even served as capital in the future. Sure. So these are some of the costs that, bring into valuing what it costs to get one customer. You're thinking about as well the marketing you need to do in some cases, how you need to up the brand and all of those things. So summarily, the business model is then what defines the financials, the numbers. Mm-hmm. If you're thinking about the financials as well, it's almost critical to also show your traction. And that's also another point that I wanted to speak to. Mm-hmm. Traction in the sense that how many people have tried this product, even if it's free. How many people would? So I don't know if you've seen any scenario where people give you a product and then they ask you, how would you like to pay? Or how much do you think you would like to pay for this product to be served to you regularly? Mm-hmm. So that's something we call prototyping, or not really prototyping, but I'm trying to find the word pilots. Yeah, that's okay. So you do like a pilot. It will be good to show what the outcome of a pilot is. It shows that people are interested in this product, or a survey in some cases. If you bring all of this together, you're looking at an income statement. We have 3 key financial statements. We have the income statement, we have the balance sheets, and then we have the cash flow. Mm-hmm. In IFRS terms, which is an accounting word, you're speaking to the statement of income, you're speaking to the statement of comprehensive income, if you may. You're then speaking as well to the balance sheet is also called the statement of financial position. And then the cash flow is called the statement of cash flow. So if you think about these 3 things, it gives an overview of how you intend to, the money you're going to be making. Yeah. So if I would summarize, it's good to show your traction. Mm-hmm. It's good to show your assumptions, which typically reflects your business model. Mm-hmm. And then it's good to show the 3-statement financials, a summary of it. If there is need for more details, when you go into deeper conversations, you could share the financial model. So that's one part of it. Yeah. The other part of it that we typically look out for in financials is the sources of funds and the use of funds. Sometimes you may be getting money from not just us. Mm-hmm. If you're getting money from a bank, and money could be equity or debt, or a mix of both, that we call the quasi equity. So if you're getting money from a bank or another person, we need to know how much in total you're looking to get. And then how you intend to spend the money. How you intend to spend the money would either show up in your OPEX or your CAPEX. Your OPEX is like your operating expenditure, your marketing, your salaries. And then your CAPEX is like if you need to buy tech, tech stuff to build your products.
That's a loss for common people like us. I mean, we have passion. We want to enter the market. And that then also do all these things. Yeah. Now. So for you sitting down and judging people pitch, what are the common mistakes founders make when they come to you here?
So, actually, it's in twofold. It's in the pitching, whether it's with the deck or in person, and with the content of what you're pitching. So with the pitching, it could be that you're showing signs of no confidence. You're looking down when you're pitching, like the normal things you look up for in public speaking. It could also be that you're presenting something and you're not showing it. Maybe they've not. You're presenting a new deck, or maybe an updated deck, and you're saying in the new version, we don't know the new version. We haven't seen the new version.
Yeah.
Or like the document says what document. So so you want to be able to, or like describing a product that you could easily have brought, but you could have shown us pictures of. So those are some of the flaws that we see. In preparing the deck, some of the flaws is not having page numbers. Sometimes you could, when investors review, it could be 2 people on the deal team, or it could be 2 or 3 or more. I don't want to, call my friend, not my friend, my colleague, and I'm saying, in the deck, the one that, say you have competition, and it's 2 slides. Competition, I don't know about competition. I want to refer to the slide after the first slide of competition. And then I have to say the slide after the slide, the one after, you just want to say page 12.
Yeah.
It makes it easy. Or when the flow is haphazard, you're talking about marketing, you talk about team, then you talk about marketing, you talk about team, and then, you just keep moving up and down. You've not talked about the products, but you're already talking about the money you want. So those are interesting.
There's been into why we are here.
Let's get the money. So yes, that's one of the flaws those are some of the flaws that we've seen. And again, if you also think about the content, you're not talking enough about the team that would execute. You're telling us you exclude the competition slide from your deck. I've seen some cases where people remove the competition slide from the deck because the idea is, I don't want you to know that there's somebody else in the market. But no, you almost always know there's other people in the market. So, because there will always be competition, even if it's a new product. People assume that because it's an invention, there wouldn't be competition. That's not entirely true. Even if you don't have current competition now, you have future competition. And you need to start thinking about it already. It's a risk, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
It's a risk you need to start thinking about. So we need to know that you're thinking about how to be nimble and to overcome the challenges that comes with competition. So those are some of the things, excluding the slide of competition or not even understanding your markets properly. I've been in situations where I felt like the person pitching didn't really understand the market. If your market is primarily Nigeria, I needed to spend a lot more time talking about Nigeria. Spend more time talking about the 36 states in Nigeria. Don't talk to me so much about the global market. If the place you're starting from is Nigeria, you could tell me you will move globally, but I want to understand the Nigerian market a lot more.
Okay, so that's a very good insight. So now I watch a lot of Lions Den, Nabi Dragons Den, all the den that people have, and I see where they go back and forth with the percentage. So what is the favorable percentage ratio of, and what is the implication of me giving an investor? Because when you tell somebody, go pitch for something, that's those people don't want to collect your business. they want to take over your business. So, help a startup know the favorable negotiation ratio.
That's a very interesting one. I think to deep dive on this, you would need a legal. There is a financial aspect to this. If you think about the investor and investee dynamics, it's not always easy because we all know the passion, the pain that comes with building something, and then feeling like it's getting up your hands, especially when you don't realize it. And that's why I said you need a legal person, because it's in the agreement that people lose rights that they don't generally would have wanted to lose. But it's good to know the numbers, which is why the question you asked is super important. If you don't know the numbers, you can almost sign anything. So if you come back to the point around the stake and the ratio, the percentages, it depends. As you expand and as you raise more money, if you raise more money, the chances that your stake in the business reduces is significant, except your business is growing fast. So if, for instance, you have a 50,000 let's say a business that is worth 50,000. And I'm bringing in like a 10,000. The stake I would get from that business would be 10,000 divided by 50,000 plus 10,000. Now, the 50,000 is probably something like you call like your pre-money value.
Yes.
The 10,000 I'm bringing is like your growth money. The post-money value is the 50 plus 10, which is like the post-money value of the business. So post-money means after I put money in the business, what is the value of the business, right? So that's how we think about stake. So you would usually, ensure that your business is growing well enough so that the pre-money value is being there. So that when investors bring in money, they're not taking so much. Yeah. And it's, people think investors just always want to take all your shares. And if someone is being a crook, you really want to take the amount of shares that would help you also sell and make back the money and make returns. Okay. Right? I'm not just going to give you money for free or take less than what is expected. And the reason is because when we think about investment, we're thinking about investments and exit. So if as an investor, I'm evaluating a business, I'm going to evaluate it at entry. So if I'm putting 10,000 and I'm getting 5%, by year 5, for instance, what would this business be worth? 5% of that work wouldn't give me the return that I expect, right? And we think about returns with two key metrics. We think about the multiple on invested capital. It's called the MOC. And then we think about returns in the terms of the IRR. The IRR is usually measuring the timing. For us, both are very critical. The MOC tells you just how much the quantum, the magnitude of the return. The IRR tells you the value of the return. And let me tell you why. If you give me a 2x in 2 years, I would appreciate it more than if you give me a 2x in 5 years. 2x meaning I invest 10,000 and I get 20,000, and that's a 2x. And the return is really 1x because the 1x is what I invest, the other 1x is what I made out of it. Now, if you maybe do like a 2x in 5 years, that could maybe be like, let's say 2.5x in 5 years. That's like a 25% IRR. Now, if you give me a 2x in 3 years, that could be like a 40% IRR. I prefer a 40% IRR. And IRR measures the passage of time. The more time goes, it's just like 50,000 5 years ago and 50,000 now. Complete. That's like when you think about IRR, think about it then. The return I make in 3 years that is significant is always going to be better than the return I make, the same return, if I make it in 5 years. So those are key metrics we look out for.
Why did they add intellectual? So because I feel like sometimes someone will be like, I am taking more percentage from this business because I have to add my intellectual this thing here. So
I think I
don't do it for free. So why they add that intellectual this thing and they use it, they monetize it inside the percentage they ask for?
Intellectual capital. Sometimes there's also social capital. And so those are some of the capital that people add. I think the intellectual capital part is, let's say for instance, this is maybe even more typical for seed stage. Because at seed stage you only have an idea. And maybe there's somebody that would help you build out. So let's say you have an idea. I've had many ideas. Every time I'm in the bathroom, I have ideas. So you're bringing about to the topic. If you think about what it means, it's usually when somebody has an advisory role that is also technical. Okay. Sometimes your investor could also be your technical advisor. And in this sense, they're probably helping you build out the product as well. Okay. So they would value bringing in terms of the technical capacity. That would also be valued. Because they're like core, the word, I'm trying to find the best word, partners, yeah. So because they're like co-producers, they're partners in developing the products, they would speak in value there. And it's not all the time.
See, I was that sure. Sometimes I'm like, wow, you guys, I mean, I've heard the word the womb.
We have an interesting thing, right? What is better? You have an idea that doesn't see the day, that doesn't see brick light, and you have an idea that maybe somebody gets 5% more for, and you have more money.
Because I mean, like, how many times? But when you talk about the social, because my name is on your business, so that's another.
That's even one part. The other part will be that you need a certain type of net. You need to break into a type of network. I may not even have, but I could get someone to. I could travel for you. I could do all of that stuff for you. Those are some of the things that people consider. But you know one critical thing, right? Timing is a very critical topic in business. Okay. For a startup, for a venture, for business, for anybody, timing is really important. And the reason I say this is because you want to be in the sweet spot of not being too early to the market, to go to the market too early, and also not going to the market too late. And those are some of the things that having advice or a support can help you with. Okay. Someone who's seen these mistakes happen over time, or someone who's seen go-to-market happen many times can tell you when or when not to go to market. Those are also additional advantages that having an advisor brings.
So then you're saying like the more you grow, the less you lose, or the more you lose.
So typically, the more you expand, if you're not raising funds, the tendency that you would have dilution, meaning you have lesser stake, is lower. But if you're constantly raising funds, you would be giving out stake every time you raise funds. So the chances that you would have lesser stake is higher, especially when your business is not growing as fast as you're raising. So that's why it's not good to just go to the market every time to raise money without having a significant growth potential or value that people would pay for.
So then, now the more you grow and ask for funds, the less stake you have.
Yes.
Then when you're at early stage, you can lose a lot of stake because of you just have an idea.
Not really. Let me just clarify. It's dependent. When you're early stage, it's always best that you build value by yourself here. Maybe grants. I've reviewed pitches for grants. You could use grants. You could use technical assistance funding, and you could use, typically it's even better to get grants where you're not losing a lot of stake. Okay. There are other instruments that people use so that they don't lose so much stake. And there are things like convertibles, right? So convertible is that you're giving me the money as debt. When I'm raising funding, that's something you call a price round. I then value the business based on that value and based on maybe a discount or all of those things we're looking at. Based on that, based on the terms we agree on, you would then get a stake then. By now, you don't have a stake to my business. Okay. Or you could use debt. So debt, quasi-instruments, or grants. So you don't really have to lose a stake. You shouldn't be losing so much stake as it, because you will grow. You will need money to. So if it's something, if I'm an investor getting on your cap table, and I feel like, and I see that you already had so many dilutions at an early stage, it's sort of worrying. It's concerning. It means like you've not done so much growth and you've gotten in so much money already.
So if you have 20 people pitching for a fund and you have like 10 good pitches, how will you describe the winning pitch?
I mean, the winning pitch for me would be there is a problem and there is a massive market for it. Okay, that is the winning pitch. So I will take it this way. There is a problem. Your solution is adding incremental value. Okay, or is solving a problem that people haven't thought about. Or even if people were thinking about it, you're probably going to be better than them in execution. Okay, and there is a massive market for it, meaning people are willing to pay. And there is a strong team that is going to execute this. And again, you have successfully shown that people will pay for this. You've shown that you can grow. You've shown that you've relentlessly pursued growth with or without support or with or without financing. I think that would be it for me. And one key thing that is also important is that you understand that the challenges will come, risks will come, and you're sort of nimble enough. You have that mindset to be able to change things fast enough, or be able to find the best alternative fast enough. I think that would be most critical for me. There situations where India was closed and then regulations changed just months after. Okay. So what was most important then is the fact that the founder is able to maybe switch the products for another use. Okay. So there's another use case. You're able to find another use case for it.
And final question, must he be the founder that pitches for the money? Because I know that some people, they're behind the scene people, like...
It's depending. Remember I mentioned that if it's an in-person page, you're looking at non-verbal cues as well as verbal cues. Typically, whoever understands the product well enough to sell it to one, understands the numbers. Sometimes it could be two people presenting. It's not all the time. I've seen cases where two people are presenting as well. So whoever can get the charisma understands the content and can deliver as well.
It doesn't matter, because sometimes people just feel like it's my business.
It isn't. If it's a tech-heavy product, it will most likely be the CTO. Okay. Yeah. Because the founder may just be someone who has money, who has the other parts of it, maybe marketing knowledge, but he does have tech knowledge. The marketing person will not come talk to me about tech. Actually, everybody in your founding team should have at least sufficient knowledge to talk about the products. But there's some technical detail, especially if your unique advantage is the tech.
Yeah.
You want the tech person to talk about the tech stuff in a way that makes sense. And then you want the marketing person to talk about the tech stuff, but how you make money from the tech.
Okay.
Yeah. So the blend, that's even one of the things you look out for in the team. How do they blend? How do they complement each other?
This is amazing insight. It's like, where are they pitching?
Let's go there.
Thank you very much. It's Oluebube. Thank you so much. Thank you for... we can catch you on the street of LinkedIn.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you guys catch her on the street of LinkedIn. It's Oluebube Ezeoke. And drop your comments for her on the comment section. I will drag her to answer you.
And I'm trying to be available, guys. The way she dragged me here.
This is the...
Cheers. I give it to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for all the things you've poured out, giving me a lot of clarity on some stuff. Because me, I used to be like, well, Nigerian investors, they just want to chop my money. I'll just be working for them, don't sit down. Say, yes, I'm to my money, but, breaking down all of this stuff, that there are a lot of works to the decision-making process. So before we go, what advice would you give someone that, because I'm a startup advocate, what advice would you give someone that is just starting and looking for fun there?
I think proof of concept is very important, which is the pilot I spoke about. And proof of concept is as simple as within your community in Mauritius, asking someone. People usually ask questions to their friends and families, and they won't really want to hurt your feelings and emotions and ego. But having someone evaluate your product, evaluate your idea, objectively is a gift. And you want to seek out for it. You could get it by speaking to people. I've had people, just founders, tell me, I don't want money. I just wanted to look at my page. Do you think it makes sense? What do I need to update? What do I need to upgrade? Look at it from your investor perspective, your lens. So there's some people within the space that, it helps with all of these things. So look out for opportunities to evaluate your products, get a sounding board for your ideas, but make sure it's trusted, or at least have a patent. You don't want to lose your idea before you... lose your idea before you even get to establish. That's another mistake. That's why I said timing is important. You don't want to go too early. When you don't have any infrastructure, you don't have intellectual infrastructure, intellectual infrastructure could be your patents, for instance. You don't have the human resource, you don't have anybody that would help you build. They're already telling everybody about the idea. You may lose it before you even get to do it. So having that, and also you don't want to be, and the sweet spot is where you have the infrastructure and you're also early in the market. You also don't want to be too late where everybody's already doing the same thing and you don't have so much advantage. The advantage you perhaps want to have is how to copy fast. To write on other people's lessons.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, that brings me to the second point actually, which is safeguard the idea that you have. It could be like signing NDAs with people, but maybe not investors. And that's why when you're shopping for investors, it needs to be at the point where you've already safeguarded the back.
Okay.
Like someone is not using your idea just anyhow to patent it over. Because if you speak to, as an investor, I know how many pitch I look at. And even this is me investing in later stage. But even at early stage, when I was doing VC, you get pitch of water is like almost every day. And that doesn't, reduce the relevance. Very much appreciate all the entrepreneurs that send in their pitches, but it was a lot, right? So I'm not going to sign NDAs for all of those pitches, right? Sometimes, so that's why it's always good to send like a teaser. You're not sending too much information, that kind of thing. So make sure that you're not giving out too much unnecessarily. And then as well, think of how to get capital that you don't have to get diluted at very early stage. You want to get dilution when it makes sense to scale. Whether you're scaling from seed to Series A or from Series A to growth, which is like Series B, Series C, Series D, unicorn, and all the series. Those are really the three key things for me. Yeah.
That's your intellectual property.
Yes.
Thank you so much. This comes to the end of today's episode. See you guys next week. Don't forget to subscribe. Click on the notification bell so you've been alerted, notified when we drop another episode. You can check Oluebube on the street of LinkedIn. She was like, don't worry, she's very sweet like that.
Okay.
So get some advice. Don't go into this without consulting someone that you trust. And try and, because me like this now, she wants to give me money.
Buyers beware. Anything she's telling you, beware.
So next week, guys. Bye.
Bye.